Hello everyone. I get a lot of questions about using credit spreads versus the broken wing butterfly and what the difference is in the setup and why I choose one over the other. So I'm just going to talk about both of them briefly and do a little comparison. When I'm setting up credit spreads, I, for example, will go in and add a short call for a bearish position close to the money, and then a long call right next to it. And so you can see that the structure for profit and loss looks like this, which is what we would expect. I'm seeing a 280 for the maximum profit and 220 for the maximum loss. So we actually get a good profit to loss ratio here, and we have a probability of profit, which is just theoretical, but we can use it as a base to compare of 51%. So it looks like this. I have a lot of success with credit spreads if I'm using them correctly. And so I think it's a good strategy. It's a simple strategy. You just have two legs and you have defined risk. So especially if you're just starting out with options, hopefully everybody is using defined risk. But if I look at a broken wing butterfly and I try to set it up in the same profile, so I have to move these a little bit, I get something that looks like this. So it's the same probability of profit. It's 51%. I've got 250 max loss in this area. My runoff, which is what I call this whole area here, if the price just goes over here and doesn't come back, is 250. So actually the risk reward profile was a little bit better on the credit spread in this setup. That's not always the case, but it just happens to be that way. They're usually pretty close. But the main difference is on the broken wing butterfly, you've got this profit tent. And there is a decent chance that the price will go somewhere and then end up back in here. It's not a lottery ticket. It's a much higher probability than that you will get one of these big winners. And when you do, it can really just give your profit curve a boost. And so that's the reason why mainly I choose the broken wing butterfly over the credit spread. Again, they're both very good strategies. Now, one drawback to the broken wing butterfly is the dependence on liquidity. So you have three legs instead of two, so you're adding in the bid-ask spread of three different option strikes. And in SPX, I've had a lot of success with getting filled. I always put in limit orders. I don't just send it through on a market order and just let the market makers do what they want with it, unless I'm just trying to get out of one and I'm in a hurry to get out and I'm trying to close. Then sometimes I'll send a market order. But with SPX, I've done limit orders most of the time, and I always get a pretty good fill. But I use Schwab, and so that's something to keep in mind. Some people have said on Tastyworks they have difficulty getting filled with butterflies. I haven't traded on Tastyworks in about 10 years, so I don't have the experience with that. But with Schwab, I have had no issues getting filled on SPX. So that negative factor of the butterflies or broken wing butterflies doesn't seem to be there for me. So that's why I always choose this, because it's a way for me to take kind of a 50-50 directional, getting a little bit more of a probability of profit than that, but also adding in this chance to get a really high profit on the trade, which I'm looking for an edge anywhere I can find it, and to me that's adding an extra edge into the strategy. So that's the difference between the two. I think they're both viable, but that's the reason why I choose one over the other. And again, Optionsmith, I think, gives a good visual of comparing different strategies. And so when we release it at first, which should be any day now, hopefully when we get approved by Schwab, we will only be connecting with Schwab as the brokerage. So that is what you would have to use it at first. We do hope to support other brokerages like Tasty or whatever else people have a demand for. But initially, that'll be what we support is a Schwab account. But it's not that hard to set up a Schwab account if you don't have one. So anyway, thank you for tuning in to Optionsmith, and we will see you later.